Denver is the city many of us call home, whether we live within the city limits or not. Up next, we're talking to Mayor Michael Hancock, and we're asking questions about the impact President Trump's American Health Care Act could have on Colorado's disabled community. I'm Ann Trujillo, and welcome to Politics Unplugged. No matter where you live in Colorado, the Denver skyline is iconic. Colorado's capital city and largest city, also home to some of the state's largest businesses. Well, today we are joined by Denver Mayor Michael Hancock, and thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you, man.
I know you're getting ready to deliver the State of the City address, so give us some ideas to what are your priorities looking forward?
You know, this city is growing exponentially. You hear me talk about that almost every day. We're going to talk about that growth and about the importance of maintaining Denver's sense of who we are. So I'm going to talk about that because that's really important to people. And they also want to hear how we're responsibly meeting some of the challenges as a result of growth, including housing, mobility, and our quality of life.
And we'll talk a little bit about that. I want to first ask you about the police department because I know the Denver police chief and the deputy chief are being accused of deception. The police union saying that anybody else would have been reprimanded in some way. Do you believe the department's integrity is at risk?
It's hard for me to answer any questions regarding it because it is an active investigation right now. But we take, any types of allegations like this very seriously, and we are. And so we're going to allow for the investigation to go forward.
So you just get to sit and watch as the investigation happens? You
want it to go forward unfettered and really not impugned by any comments that I might make or anyone else might make in a position of authority.
But it still reflects on your city.
Absolutely. It's important. It's important that we have a fair and thorough investigation as well.
Let's talk about the homeless situation now because the city has taken a lot of heat for the removal of property. Do you stand by that decision? Was that the right thing to do?
We addressed that, and when you must be referring to the time last year
sweep,
when
yes.
We addressed it last year when the video first hit, and we did talk with the police officers about it, as well as the city attorney, and really asked the question, what can we do that we're not taking people's possessions? And the reason why they were taking it, in case there was a case based on the citations that were being issued at the time for failure to move and obey the order of the police officer. And yes, we decided to change how we do business, and the officers no longer take the possessions of the individuals, but take pictures of it in case there is a court case that we have to present that evidence. So we've changed our policy. Officers understand that, and we're moving forward with it. But I'll tell you, it is important that we do not allow for encampments to occur because they're unhealthy, they're unsafe, they're unsanitary, and it's important for us to encourage folks to move indoors where we have worked hard to create shelter space and beds and transitional housing and take advantage of those opportunities to be safer and in healthier environments in the city.
Because we all know that this is an issue for every city, and everyone is frustrated with what the proper channel is to deal with the homeless situation. So I know you recently opened the Office of Hope. Describe a little bit more specifically what the city is doing to find some resolution here.
Sure, and we looked at it and realized as a city we're spending close to $50 million a year on the question of homelessness. When you put those kind of resources out there, you would hope that you're able to find some resolution or be able to meet the challenge head on. But we were not really making as big a headway as we want to and would expect to. And so we stepped back and looked and realized we have various agencies all trying to meet the same objective, but not really coordinated and communicating. And so the Office of Hope, the Housing and Opportunities for People Everywhere office, is really designed to kind of coordinate from a broad, facilitative, convening perspective, all those agencies so we can get the most out of the resources we're dedicating. At the end of the day, it's about the people on the street who need our support. We need to be talking. We need to be efficient and effective in our approach, and that's what we hope this office will do for us.
I know that housing is a frustration we hear from people all the time.
Absolutely.
Affordable housing, transportation, parking is another issue we hear from our viewers a lot because we hear a lot of housing going up, but not necessarily enough parking. Explain what the thinking is.
Well, the reality is that we are, as a city, in the midst of a major transition, one in which not everyone is probably aware of the fact that our culture is shifting. We are encouraging the planning and the thought around moving people, not so much automobiles anymore on our streets. The reality is that our streets have to become multimodal. When you grow, or you become the fastest growing city in the country, you got to think about how you move people around the city and not so much automobiles. And so as this culture begins to shift, we've got to fortify policies that really encourage people to think less about automobiles and more about transit. Pedestrian or walking, using bicycles. And at the same time, you know, recognizing that some people are going to be in cars. And so we just got to begin to change that culture or work and make sure everyone understands that we're in the midst of a transformation. It's probably the biggest one we've seen in the city's history, quite frankly. Yeah. And the more multimodal we become, the better it's going to be for all of us with regards to congestion and our ability to get around the city and ultimately find parking for our bikes as well as our cars.
Okay, we took a couple of questions from the public. I'm going to ask you one of them. We know there are affordable housing plans in place. This person writes, how is Denver accommodating affordable housing for those who fall fractions above the 60% max AMI to live in these new affordable projects?
What that individual is referring to is really the working workforce housing that we need in the city. And what we recognize, and to your viewer, is that the greatest need for affordable housing in our city meets the working class of the community. There are people, you know, who are working every day who cannot afford rents or who are overburdened with rents and mortgage in the city of Denver. There are teachers, there are waiters, to some extent there are security officers in buildings, there are administrators, and we have to move forward to kind of create that affordable housing for the workforce. That's really where a lot of our focus is in terms of the kind of housing we're creating in the city of Denver. So just know that that's really where our focus area is. We continue to get those who are below 60 or 30% AMI, but at the end of the day, it's workforce housing where we find the bulk of our need.
Yeah. Someone also is asking, would you ever sell city parks to developers for the right price?
Absolutely not.
Okay. The sanctuary city issue. Denver's done everything but say it's a sanctuary city. Will that ever change?
No. You know, at this point in time, let me tell you, we have looked at this issue and we understand what symbols are. My -- objective is to protect the people, the residents of this city. Not to shield violent criminals, whether they are native born or undocumented. Let's make sure that's very clear. But to protect the residents of this city and not needlessly put them in harm's way. When we go out, when we're learning across this country, when you put that symbol of sanctuary city on your city, we're seeing that the ICE agency is doubling down and putting bigger targets on the backs of those that you're trying to protect, the most vulnerable. Immigrants are in our city, they're working hard. Clearly some break the rules or laws. We want to hold them accountable. But at the end of the day, we don't need to needlessly put people in harm's way who are simply trying to find freedom and opportunity in this city.
We have 1 minute left. What's your biggest frustration as mayor?
Yeah, I think it's always making sure the message is clear and honest and it gets to the people and they understand what our intent is. You know, we understand with social media, it's easy to take a clip or a word or phrase and turn it. And so it is a frustrating situation at times. But as I tell my team, we are here to serve and protect and serve the people of the city. Let's stay true and honest, and let's believe in our intent.
What's Denver's best kept secret?
I think people have figured it out. We're a great city. It's fun, it's safe, and it's a wonderful place to live.
I agree with you. It's absolutely true. What about your aspirations? I know you're up for re-election in 2019. You've already raised some money.
Listen, I have the best job in politics in Colorado right now, and mayors across this country are the only ones actually accomplishing anything. And so I'm going to stay where I can accomplish the things that we set out to do.
What are you thinking about Washington, by the way?
Am I thinking about Washington?
What are you thinking about Washington?
It's frustrating. I get there. It's dysfunctional, it's chaotic, and it's, quite frankly, not serving the American people, unfortunately. And, you know, I go there very regularly on behalf of the people of Denver, and I tell you, it's a very difficult place to be a part of.
And since you mentioned it, are you thinking of ever going to Washington? Any of those jobs?
I'm honored to be the mayor of Denver right now. I don't know if you could pay anybody enough to go to Washington.
Mayor Michael Hancock, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ann.
Appreciate your time.
You bet.
And we'll be right back.